So we are reading from the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10, and we will start from the beginning and go in these pastimes as far as we go.
Nice.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayarupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganara Gunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Raguna Tam Vitam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuba Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskatya Desha Karine. Okay, so my plan is to read those verses and add some of my notes. I've been trying to research the topic of the birthday of Lord Ramachandra, so we will go into that very, very shortly. Yes. So we will start from text 1. I will just be reading it. Shri Shuka Uvacha Katvanga Tirga Bahuscha Raguscha Smat Pritu Shravaha Ajastato Maharajas Tasmada Sharato Bhavat. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, the son of Maharaj Katvanga was Dirgha Bahu, and his son was the celebrated Maharaj Raghu. From Maharaj Raghu came Aja, and from Aja was born the great personality Maharaj Dasharat. Okay. Text 2. Tasyapi Bhagavan Esha Shakshat Brahma Mayo Harihi Ashamshena Chaturdhaga Puttatvam Praratita Surai Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugna Iti Samgyaya. Being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth Himself, directly appeared with His expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrugna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in 4 forms as the sons of Maharaj Dasharat. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Ramachandra and his brothers Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna are all Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into many, many forms. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Although they are one and the same, Vishnu Tattva has many forms and incarnations. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murtishu Kalanyamena Tishtam. The Lord is situated in many forms such as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrugna. And these forms may exist in any part of His creation. All these forms exist permanently, eternally, as individual personalities of Godhead, and they resemble many candles, all equally powerful. Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna, who, being Vishnu Tattva, are all equally powerful, became the sons of Maharaj Dasharat in a response to prayers by the demigods. So here we get explained how Lord Ramachandra appeared in the family of Maharaj Dasharat, and I've prepared like this. If I can share the screen,
Okay.
I will try that. Okay, I will wait.
I just gave you permission.
Oh, thank you. So let's see. Okay, so now you can see probably on the screen. So I want to go to the dynasties a little bit, because the ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes the two main dynasties. One dynasty is coming from the moon god, and the other one is coming from the sun god. And if we are talking about Lord Ramachandra, we are talking about the dynasty from the sun god, Vivashvan, and son of Vivashvan was or is Vaivashvata Manu. So that's the Manu who is presiding now in this moment. Yes, and from Vaivashvata Manu, you can see on the right side of the big tree on the screen is Maharaj Ikshvaku, and from him you can see there are many more descendants, and one of those further descendants is Maharaj Dasharat, and from Maharaj Dasharat come Ramachandra, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrugna. So and okay, like I started with Lord Vivashvan. So we can also see that the Vivasvan was born of Kashyapa Muni, and he was born from Brahma, and Lord Brahma came from Vishnu, and from Vishnu Vishnu came from Krishna. So here we can maybe very nicely see how all the creation comes from Krishna, and Krishna himself goes to this material world through many of his incarnations, and one of those primary incarnations is Lord Ramachandra. And on the left side of the tree, we can see the dynasty coming from the moon god, and the dynasty of the moon god is famous maybe mainly because of the fact that from that dynasty comes Krishna and Balaram. We have many of those pastimes thanks to books from Prabhupada. So this is the background. Yes, and here Prabhupada writes in the purport that Ramachandra, Bharat, Lakshmana, and Shatrugna are Vishnu Tattva, so they are on the same level as Vishnu. So these are not living entities, and they are all the same. So we should not say that, for example, Ramachandra is a stronger than his brothers, because they are all the same, and Prabhupada uses the example that is described by Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita. Diparchir evahida sharantam abhyupetya dipayate vivrtahetu samana dharmaya stadrik evahicha vishnutaya vibhati govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So he uses the example with candles. So if we have multiple candles and we want to light all the candles, so we usually start with the first candle, and from the first candle we can light the second candle. And this, please silence, Rukmini.
יודעתם, שלוש רם, שטרת איתו בשלוש, יותר ארוכים. אז זה מה האורך שלך, 6.5.
Okay, so yes, so that we can say that there is a first candle, but in the end all the candles are the same, because all the candles are the same. Just one candle was the first that lighted all the remaining candles. So this is the way we can think about the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. Okay. Text 3. Tasyanucharitam rajam rishibhishtatvadarshibhi shrutam hi varnitam bhuri tvaya sita patermuhu. Translation. O King Parikshit, the transcendental activities of Lord Ramachandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. Purport. Modern Rakshasas, posing as educationally advanced merely because they have doctorates, have tried to prove that Lord Ramachandra is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but an ordinary person. But those who are learned and spiritually advanced will never accept such notions. They will accept the descriptions of Lord Ramachandra and his activities only as presented by Tattva Darshis, those who know the absolute truth. In Bhagavad Gita 4.34, the Supreme Personality of Godhead advises, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Unless one is Tattvadarshi, in complete knowledge of the absolute truth, one cannot describe the activities of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, although there are many so-called Ramayanas or histories of Lord Ramachandra's activity, some of them are not actually authoritative. Sometimes Lord Ramachandra's activities are described in terms of one's own imaginations, speculations, or material sentiments, but the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra should not be handled as something imaginary. While describing the history of Lord Ramachandra, Shukadev Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit, "You have already heard about the activities of Lord Ramachandra. Apparently, therefore, 5,000 years ago, there were many Ramayanas, or histories of Lord Ramachandra's activities, and there are many still. But we must select only those books written by Tattvadarshis, Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha, not the books of so-called scholars who claim knowledge only on the basis of a doctorate. This is a warning by Shukadev Goswami. Rishibhis Tattvadarshibhi. Although the Ramayana composed by Valmiki is a huge literature, the same activities are summarized here by Shukadev Goswami in a few verses. So the bona fide version of Ramayana is from Valmiki Muni, and I wanted to investigate how actually Lord Ramachandra came to this material world. So I was investigating a little bit, and actually Prabhupada mentions it in various classes that he has given. So Maharaj Dasharat simply said he wanted a son because he wanted to retire, and like having a son, that's like a man's goal, even in this age. Like one of the goal for the man is to have a son, and it is said that household without a son has no meaning. So he was longing for a son, basically, and he organized a horse sacrifice. So because we are in the second age out of the four ages, Satya, Treta, Dvapara, and Kali, and the recommended process for the second age, Treta Yuga, is conducting sacrifices. So he was conducting a horse sacrifice to bring himself a son, basically. And at the same time, the world was being distressed under the influence of the demonic Ravana, and Ravana was a big worshipper of Lord Brahma, and he became very strong, so much so that all the demigods were experiencing fear and asked Lord Brahma to resolve the situation. Brahma started to pray to Lord Vishnu, and usually before the Lord appears in the material world, we can see that there is some devotee of the Lord who prays for the Lord, and by his mercy, the Lord comes to this place. So that we have the Lord Brahma praying, and Lord Vishnu promised him that he will come basically. And out of the horse sacrifice, they've received some food, some prasadam that Maharaj Dasharat gave to his 3 wives. So he had 3 wives, and he gave 1/2 to the first wife, the other half to the second wife, and then those 2 wives gave each 1 portion of their prasadam to the 3rd wife. So out of these parts, the 4 brothers came. So we have Lord Ramachandra from the first wife, Bharata from the second wife, and Lakshman and Shatrughna from the 3rd wife. Okay, let's go on. Yeah, and like it seems that as there are many Ramayanas even now in this world, there is one which is bona fide. So also the situation seems the same as we have many versions of the Bhagavad Gita, and still the version from Srila Prabhupada is the one that is the proper one. Text 4. I will just be reading the translation in English. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramachandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife, Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, or by another monkey, Sugriva, king of the monkeys, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshmana, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Shurpanakha, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, and moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravana to kill him, like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. So there are many of things going on in this verse. There's like 5 different things. So one of the things that happened because it was that Ramachandra was to become a king because he was the first one, the first son. But it was one of the wives of Maharaj Dasharat. She wanted that her son becomes the king, and because previously Dasharat gave her a promise that he will grant her some wish. So she wished just before Lord Ramachandra becoming a king, that her son becomes king. And in the end, Lord Ramachandra had to leave, and he spent like 14 years wandering in the forest. And in the forest, he met the demon Shurpanakha, And actually, this demon, she was a sister of the main demon of the whole thing, Ravana. And Shurpanaka, she was searching for a husband, and she wanted Ramachandra as her husband. But Ramachandra refused her. I think that then she also wanted Lakshman, and she did not get even him, and she blamed Sita, basically. She was thinking that because of the influence of Sita, that Ramachandra does not want to become her man. So she wanted to harm Sita, because like the demons usually blame someone because of their misfortune. So she was blaming Sita. So in the end, Lakshman cut her nose, and she went back to Ravana. And then Ravana decided, because Shurpanaka was describing the beauty of Sita. Then Ravana got the desire to get Sita. So that's basically the beginning of the fall of the demoniac Ravana. So that's some background of the words here. And like when the Lord comes to this place, like he usually manifests some qualities, some inspiring qualities that we can get inspired by. So the question is, what are those qualities of Lord Ramachandra that we can get inspired by? And one of those qualities described by Prabhupada is Ramachandra's quality of renunciation, because he was completely fine with giving up the chance to rule the kingdom after he was told that he will not become a king. Just shortly before he could become a king, so he was fine with that, just leaving the place. And yeah, and he was also renounced that that he was fine to go on his own, basically. So he did not require that his wife will join him. He did not even require that his brothers will join him. So that's one inspiring quality of renunciation. Like compared to the modern world, maybe basically if I was like told, if I was like preparing to become a king and I was told at the last minute that I will not become a king, I would try to do something to change it so that I can become a king. Maybe I would try to promise something, and maybe I would try to lie. I would try to cheat. So that's the difference between a spiritual mentality and the mentality in this world. And then other inspiring quality of Lord Ramachandra is his quality of responsibility. So we've read that Sita was separated from the Lord, and the Lord did basically the Lord did all the things he needed to do to get his wife back. So in this process, he destroyed the whole kingdom just to get his wife back. So that's the quality of responsibility. Text 5. Vishwamitra dvare yena marichadya nishacharha pasyato lakshmanasyaiva hata nairita pungavaha. In the arena of the sacrifice performed by Vishwamitra, Lord Ramachandra, the king, killed many demons, rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramachandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshmana, be kind enough to give us protection. In the forest, the Lord was not only followed by his wife, Mother Sita, but he was also followed by his brother, Lakshmana. Text 6 and 7. Translation. O King, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra were wonderful, like those of a baby elephant. In the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband, in the midst of the heroes of this world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. This bow was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men, but Lord Ramachandra bent and strung it and broke it in the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugarcane. Thus the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita, who was equally as endowed with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. Indeed, she was the goddess of fortune who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. While returning from Sita's home after gaining her at the assembly of competitors, Lord Ramachandra met Parashuram. Although Parashuram was very proud, having rid the earth of the royal order 21 times, he was defeated by the Lord, who appeared to be a Kshatriya of the royal order. So there are 3 Ramas: Balaram, Ramachandra, and the third one, Parashuram. So here we can see that actually Lord Ramachandra met him and he defeated him. And in the previous text, Prabhupada was citing the verse also from Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amena Tishtan Nana Vatara Makarad Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Svayam Samabhavat Paramam Pumanyo Govindam Ari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So the verse starts with Ramadi. So it says that Krishna himself is the source of all these incarnations, that these incarnations are Krishna himself, and they start with Rama. So because Ram is the first expansion of Krishna, as we know, for example, from the Krishna book. So that's why in this verse starts with Rama, and then the other incarnations follow. Okay. Text 8. The translation. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife, Lord Ramachandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residents, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life and went to the forest with Sita. Purport. Maharaj Dasharat had 3 wives. One of them served him very pleasingly, and he therefore wanted to give her a benediction. She, however, said that she would ask for the benediction when it was necessary. At the time of the coronation of Prince Ramachandra, she requested her husband to enthrone her son Bharata and sent Ramachandra to the forest. Maharaj Dasharat, being bound by his promise, ordered Ramachandra to go to the forest according to the dictation of his beloved. And the Lord, as an obedient son, accepted the order immediately. He left everything without hesitation, just as a liberated soul or great yogi gives up his life without material attraction. So this is the story I mentioned. The wife got the benediction, got the promise of benediction from Maharaj Dasharat, because she served him very well. The king has some issue with his finger, so she was treating the finger very nicely, and by this service, the king promised her to fulfill some of wish that she had, and probably she was very smart, so she kept the promise for the best chance. So she requested that her son becomes a king. So then Lord Ramachandra went to the forest. Text 9. While wandering in the forest, when he accepted a life of hardship, carrying his invincible bow and arrows in his hand, Lord Ramachandra deformed Ravana's sister, who was polluted with lusty desires by cutting off her nose and ears. He also killed her 14,000 Rakshasa friends, headed by Kara, Trishira, and Dushana. So this was also already mentioned in the previous text. Yes. Text 10. O King Parikshit, when Ravana, who had 10 heads on his shoulders, heard about the beautiful and attractive features of Sita, his mind was agitated by lusty desires, and he went to kidnap her. To distract Lord Ramachandra from his ashrama, Ravana sent Maricha in the form of a golden deer. And when Lord Ramachandra saw that wonderful deer, he left his residence and followed it and finally killed it with the sharp arrow, just as Lord Shiva killed Daksha. So in the 3rd canto, I think it's the third one. We read about sacrifice performed by Lord Daksha, and actually it ends up that Shiva kills Daksha because Daksha did not offer a proper respect to the Lord Shiva. Okay, I will slowly stop here. I was just researching the various incarnations of the Lord. So I've mentioned, or we mentioned in the beginning, that Lord Ramachandra appeared in the second age, which was about 2 million years ago. Prabhupada says that this pastime happened at least 2 million years ago. And yes, and I want to ask you, like, let's make a small quiz. What main incarnations of the Lord appeared in the first age? In Satya Yuga, which of the incarnations you know that were there? Yes, Mother Maleni.
Lord Vaha, Lord Bor.
Yes, Jai. And more?
Wow. Well, there is Lord Nrsimhadev.
Yes. Yes.
Narayan Rishi.
I'm not sure, probably. Yes, like of these, like described in the Bhagavatam, for example, the fish incarnation is in this age. Then the incident of the churning of the ocean, that's also from a Satya Yuga. Lord, yes, Lord Kapil Dev is, I think, should be also here, Satya Yuga. So these are the incarnations that are described, for example, in the Bhagavatam. And like, sorry?
Mohini Murti.
Yes, yes, yes. It's the same pastime, so it makes sense. And yes, so in the second age, so we've already mentioned Lord Ramachandra. So are there some other incarnations of the Lord that you know?
Buddha Parashuram. Parashuram.
Yes.
Parashuram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we read that they met with Lord Ramachandra. Yes. And then of the other main incarnations, for example, Vamanadev is from actually Vamanadev was the first one in the second age, and then these two after that. Okay, and maybe the simplest one in the third age. Yes.
Well, I want to give space for others to respond if they want to. But the first
It's fine,
incarnation in the
just
third
go on.
age was Lord Balaram.
Lord what?
Balaram.
Balaram, yes. Balaram and Krishna himself. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, and in the fourth age, it was Lord Chaitanya. We celebrate Lord Chaitanya, and at the end of this age, there should be Kalki. So these are the main incarnations, and like we can see their descriptions throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, it starts with the beginning of the universe, and then it goes and describes various pastimes of the devotees of the Lord. At the same time, those described pastimes don't have to be described in line with the time, but in the ninth canto we gradually go through those sun dynasties and moon dynasties, and at the end of the moon dynasty, Lord Krishna takes birth. So that's where the ninth canto ends and the 10th canto begins. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your listening. We still have space. We have plenty of space. If you want to share some of your inspiration by Lord Ramachandra, if you want to share some questions, feedbacks, now is the time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Kim.
Hare Krishna. I have a dumb question. I have a feeling it's a really dumb question. But before class started, just by coincidence, it's so odd, my husband said, "Oh, why do you chant Hare Rama, Hare Ram, you know, instead when you do Hare Krishna?" And like I said, I think this is a really dumb thing that I wasn't 100% sure. But I said, well, I'm pretty sure it's because of, you know, Krishna's incarnation as Rama, Lord Rama. And then he asked me some stories about Lord Rama. And unfortunately, like, except for seeing a lot of plays of Rama and Sita, I didn't know a lot of information. But anyway, is that why we say Hare Rama in our Maha Mantra?
Yes, thanks for your question. And yeah, like sometimes, like I do things that I think that I should do, and I don't even know why I'm doing them. So it's nice to know. Yes, like does someone want to respond to that question from Kim before I place my kind of response? Okay, so I will try to respond.
Hey,
yes.
I'd like to say something. Can I say something?
Yes.
I just know it was always said that it could be either Ramchandra or Balaram. Prabhupada said that, you know, so it's not one or the other. It can be either way. That's what I always heard. You take it any way you want on those. Okay.
Yes, thanks for that. Yes, like the Rama in the mantra can mean Lord Ramachandra, and it can also mean Balaram, the brother of Krishna, or Balaram, the first expansion of Krishna. And Rama means the supreme pleasure, and it's part of the incarnation of Krishna in this age, because as Krishna has many multiple uncountable number of incarnations, one of those incarnations is his sound. He incarnates in the sound in the form of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the specific form that he chooses to incarnate himself. So it's by his will. So that's my response. Yes, Mother Malini.
Kim, you wanted to say something? Kim started speaking, but I didn't hear. What did you wanted to say, Kim? You started speaking, but we didn't hear you, and then you were on mute. You are, yeah.
Hare Krishna, are you saying you didn't hear me? You didn't hear me?
Yes, Kim, you were about to say something when Yogasvara stopped.
No, thank you. I didn't realize. No, I'm just appreciating that is a better understanding. For some reason, I always went to Ramachandra and didn't include Balaram in that thought process of the chanting. So I'm happy to hear that explanation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like Dao Bama and Prabhu and Yogeswara Prabhu have said, it's like Srila Prabhupada say both, like it's Lord Ramachandra and Balaram. And there is also other place like Yogeswara Prabhu said where Srila Prabhupada say Ram means a reservoir of pleasure, and he said Ram is the name of Krishna. So like that's true too. And then as Yogeswara pointed out, when at the end of Dwapara Yoga, before the start of the Kali Yoga, so like the sun incarnation, like the Krishna left, of course the Ma mantra was always there through all the ages, but then he came after he left the planet, but also the sage of Nami Shiranya, they really highlight the fact that the sun incarnation of the Lord in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the condense of all that is the Maha Mantra, and the Maha Mantra will lead us to the most attractive feature of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which are described in the Bhagavatam, and the reservoir of all pleasure, which is what we derive from the Bhagavatam by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Maha Mantra contains all that. It's a complete sutra. That's by chanting the Maha Mantra, we also chant all the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Yes, and it's maybe also a good reminder of the fact that usually when the Lord Krishna appears, he does not go to this world by himself, as we get to know. Like in this past time, he incarnated with his three brothers, also Lord Chaitanya does not come to this world by himself, because it's the example of a king, that the king also does not travel just by himself. He has so many people that are traveling with the king. So the Lord is never on his own, because he derives pleasure from the relationship with himself, his expansion, his potencies, and his devotees. Okay, any other questions, sharings, inspirations about Lord Ramachandra, or anything else? What's going on for you?
Last night, my roommate, Bhakta Eze, left, and he knew he will not be here today. So I said, well, tomorrow is Lord Ramachandra appearance day, and we spoke a little bit about it. And he said his first contact with Krishna was to Lord Ramachandra, and say he was very, very attracted to Lord Ramachandra. And many people are attracted by Lord Ramachandra because his pastime turned to be even more human-like than the pastime of Krishna. And also his pastime, in all ways, they cannot be criticized by our material conditioning. Versus Krishna, you know, there are so many things that Krishna does that so out of our box that our box want to make it wrong. And so we were speaking our Lord Ramachandra in that way. He really, you know, like is giving kind of entryway to Krishna by his so human-like pastimes, and like are following the rules and regulation of morality and ethic, and he's a good son and he's a good husband and he's good all around, like that. So that's the conversation we had yesterday with Bhakta Eze about Lord Ramachandra. And now many people kind of in India, most people worship Lord Ramachandra, not so much Lord Krishna. The Vaishnava Krishna follower are in the minority, in a sense, in comparison to the people who worship Lord Ramachandra. Yeah. And like the name of Ramachandra is not as potent as the name of Krishna.
Yes, thanks for that. Yeah, like yes, and like those festivities in there, like connected with Lord Ramachandra, are the most like celebrated in India. So that's like these are like the main festivals celebrated there. So Lord Ramachandra is definitely an important personality one can take shelter of. Yes, and like he displays the qualities of like a proper man with the proper qualities that we kind of think of the proper qualities that are close to us. Nice. Okay, any other sharings, questions? We still have space. Okay. So I can share a little bit in the end, like
Yahuda and Damayanti just unmuted themselves. I think they had something to say. But okay. I want to hear what you want to say too. But I just
okay, it's great. Please share.
I just wanted Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare
Yogesvara
Krishna.
Prabhu, we just wanted to say thank you for the class. That's all.
Okay, thanks. Like, okay, just a few moments before the class started. Like, I have the Ukrainian devotees family here, and some of her friends came for her, so they are traveling to the festival of Lord Ramachandra, and I was like having my fast till noon, and then I was breaking my fast. So I was like full of prasadam, and then the devotees came. So that was funny. So because they were probably like fasting up until the festival, and I was there like eating all the prasadam. But the point I want to make is that they were very inspired by seeing Prabhupada here, because as you, Mother Malini, shared like with me, that the devotees from Ukraine, they usually love Prabhupada, so they have a special relationship with him, and they were very inspired that they saw like Prabhupada there, Prabhupada like behind me, that there are more bigger pictures in the place. So that they were very inspired by the presence of Prabhupada in this place. So I was happy because they could progress in their relationship that they have with Prabhupada. Even though maybe I wasn't the best example at that moment, but I did my best.
I have a question for you, because my understanding is fasting until sunset. Did you read somewhere that the fasting is until 12?
No.
Okay.
I've applied my own rules, let's say.
I see.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So,
yeah. So the proper fasting is till sunset.
okay.
So I wish you a blissful day filled with Lord Ramachandra pastimes. Lord Ramachandra ki jai.
Bye.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you very much, Yogeshwar Prabhu. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama.
Hare Ram. Ram. Jai Shri Lord Ramachandra ki jai.